Welcome to Galactic Command Tarot. This is a psychic beacon, so if you're watching this, then you're a member of Galactic Command. Now you can choose to believe that or not, but as it is, you exist in one of two states or conditions, and that is either active or inactive. Now active means everything I say or do or pull from the ancient Galactic Command Tarot deck will apply to you. Inactive means everything I say or do or pull from the ancient Galactic Command deck will not apply to you. To go from inactive to active, all you have to do is say, of my own free will, I volunteer for service with Galactic Command, and that is it. There's no voodoo rituals or anything like that. You know, you're a light being. You're here. You want to know how to get more information about what you're doing on this planet because, to be honest, you volunteered to be here. You were trained by Galactic Command. It was a long process, and then after you were trained, you decided to come here. You had to actually step forward and volunteer again, and then you came here, and all that information was literally wiped while you were born. That's the simplest way to put it. There is a genetic marker in you that helps you access that information, and not only that, you have two guardians, and you have what's called an operator who is on board a ship, and they help download information into you. You can actually ask them. You know, literally all you do is say, operator, I'm ready for my downloads. And then when you go to sleep, you'll get your downloads. Now, it could be one download, it could be 20 downloads, it could be 100. It depends on you, and it depends on how your development is going. Okay? You can actually hear the operator, just like you can hear your guardians. If you ask their name, you listen. And it will sound like your voice in your head, and it will sound like your imagination. So it's best if you're going to do this, go until you get used to it. Like with me, I can hear them all the time. A good example of knowing what it sounds like is, say your alphabet, go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then say it silently with your mouth closed. Go E, F, G. And that's the sound you will hear in your head. You will hear that voice like when you're talking to yourself. So you listen. And if you say, guardians, may I know your name? And there's two of them that always travel with you. Listen, and you might hear, if they're female, you might hear the name Sarah. Or you might hear the name Jane. If they're males, you might hear Bob. You might hear John or Mike or something like that. It's not going to be some weird name. It's going to be a name that you can understand. Okay? They don't have completely weird names, but like, say if you're Hindu, or say if you're Chinese, it might be a Chinese name that you hear. If you're English, it might be an English name. If you're like Great Britain English, it might be a rather British name, so, but you'll hear that in your head and repeat it. Say, is your name Sarah? And you'll hear a yes. You might hear no, it might be something close. So listen again. Most of the time you'll get it right. It's the first name that pops in your head, and that's what I'm saying it. And 9 times out of 10 you'll get the information correct. Okay, I'm not saying it's 100%, but you get used to it, and as time goes on, you'll get better at it. Like with me, I can ask, how are you doing? And they'll say, we're fine. Just like that. And with the operator, you just say operator, and you'll literally hear a very professional sounding voice. They'll say, "This is the operator. What can I do for you?" And then you just say, "May I receive my downloads?" And then they say, "Your downloads are ready. You will receive," or something like that. You know, and depending on how advanced you are, you might get 1, you might get 2, you might get 20. They will choose what you get, and your body and your mind will develop as time goes on. So let's get started. Okay, so we'll shuffle the deck, and we'll shuffle the deck the way Archangel Michael taught his best friend, Archangel Wendy, and her name literally means that. It means friend or best friend. The name Wendy means best friend, and she is the third most powerful angel in the universe. She's a Christmas angel, but she's also a shock trooper angel. Now, what is a Christmas angel? When our Lord Jesus was born, God picked a bunch of angels. Well, he picked 3 specifically to literally shadow and walk with him while he was on the earth. From the moment he was born until the moment he died on the cross, he had 3 angels that were literally his bodyguards. And that's what they were there when he was born, so they are Christmas angels. But not only that, there were all these angels that had things to do. They had a purpose and a function for this particular day, and we're talking hundreds, if not thousands, of angels that had something to do. Like there was the angel that appeared before the shepherds and said, "Fear not, for I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people," and told of the coming. That's a Christmas angel, and there's some of the most powerful angels in existence. I tell people this, and this is helpful. If you're in trouble, like say you feel like there's like dark beings, or you're having nightmares, or you think there's scary things outside, start singing a Christmas song, like Jingle Bells. Jingle Bells is easy. Just start singing Jingle, and it doesn't matter when. You can do it in the middle of summer. You're calling Christmas angels. If you are in the presence of somebody who's possessed, and you need an exorcist, and nobody will believe you, if nobody in the world will believe you that you think someone is possessed by a demon, you start singing Christmas carols. You will have Christmas angels show up, the most powerful angels there are. And as I said before, Archangel Michael is the most powerful, followed by Archangel Little Michelle, which is a female. She's perpetually 14. She could literally be 1 billion years old, but when you meet her, she will look like a 14-year-old girl. She's a little taller than most girls. She's like 5'6". 5'7". Thank you. She corrected me. And the third one is Archangel Wendy. Now these, like I said, these are shock troopers, which means they come in that armor, and they come with the swords, and they are ready to do battle. But they also wear regular clothes, or they wear what's called the Angel Standard Utility Uniform. And if you want to know what that is, that's literally just the white tunic or the white simple dress with the wings, and that's it, and that's just a standard uniform. Standard utility uniform is what they call it. Okay, so I can't remember if I cut the deck or not, so I'm going to cut it again. Anyways, you cut it into 3 decks with your left hand, and you place it into one. And we deal from the top, and this is your reading. 3 of Swords. It's not heartbreak. It's something that's tugs, I want to say drags, but it tugs at your heart. Not bad. It's like a difficult decision. It's not a real big decision, but it'll be in your thoughts more than you give it credit. So put some thought into it. That's why it's thoughts. Something will tug at your heart. And like I said, it's not a big decision, but it'll have more impact than you think. And you'll think about it more. I'm thinking M&Ms for some reason. It's like candy, giving candy to a child. I'll tell you an example that I did when I was a kid that deals with candy. I was babysitting my sister's children, and they were young. They're toddlers, 3 or 4, running around, being kids. And it was early in the evening, and she was going to be out late for a little bit. And I really didn't know that much about kids at the time. I found this out later. But I bought a Kit Kat bar, a chocolate bar. It has wafers in it. It's a nice little gift, and you break it up into 4 pieces, and you can share it with 4 friends. So I brought it in, and I gave it to them, and I said, here's a nice little chocolate bar. And they were so happy, and they broke it apart, and they shared it among themselves. It's just 2 little kids. And I didn't know that chocolate would have kept them up. So when my sister came home at around 11 o'clock at night, her kids were jumping off the walls. And she kept trying to put them to sleep. And she'd tuck them into the bed, and they'd get up and they'd say, Mom, I want to show you this. Mom, I want to show you that. Oh, we did this today, Mom. And so I was getting ready to leave and go home, and she goes, what's the matter? I can't get these kids to go to sleep. It was the chocolate. So it's like that kind of decision. It's, even now, look, it was like 30 years later, probably longer than that, but it's a decision like that. It's something that it tugs at your heart. It was, for me, I was being nice. I was being courteous, kind, and polite, being gentle, and just, loving my niece and nephew. And, well, it had some unpredictable side effects. The kids wanted to stay up all night, so I didn't know that. So it can be something like that. It'll impact your heart more than you know, and it'll be something you think about. Ace of Swords, there you go. Smiling, it's something like that. Archangel Wendy, the Christmas angel, is right there. Don't be your own worst enemy. Literally. Literally, don't be your own worst enemy. Don't overthink it. Be calm. Be collected. If it's something that you did because you don't know, say, literally own up to it and say, I didn't know, I'm sorry. Just like that. Own it. Don't run from it. Later on I said, hey, I didn't know chocolate did that to kids, which I didn't. I mean, I was literally a hyperactive kid, but I never made the connection that it was chocolate or candy or anything, especially chocolate, which I watched this, it was a documentary, but it was like a tongue-in-cheek fun documentary. It was called The History of Chocolate, and it started off with the words, "Here, this is a drug. This drug has a highly addictive capacity and affects 99.9% of the Earth's population. Extremely addictive, extremely easy to find, and it is chocolate." So there she is, just saying, don't be your worst enemy. Don't put too much into it. Explain, think, have a happier attitude about it, and like I said, if it was a mistake, it was a mistake. Own it. Don't talk around it. Say, as you know, I only speak the truth, but I also think the truth. And this, I haven't been doing this my whole life. It was something that was all part of this journey. And there came a point where I said, whatever comes out of my mouth, it'll be the truth to the best of my ability. But not only that, I will think the truth as well. And it's harder than you think. Try it for a day, try it for a week, with nothing but the truth coming out of your mouth, which means if you use the last bit of toilet paper in the bathroom, and someone says, did you take the last bit of toilet paper? Say, yes, I took the last bit of toilet paper, and I forgot to put a new one in there, so, but think the truth as well. Don't say, no, I have no idea what happened to the toilet paper, and walk off. But here's something else. You can joke and like how I say speak the truth, but if I'm a comedian and I'm standing up on stage and I'm telling jokes and telling stories and they're not completely true, well, you can do jokes and you can do comedy because it's part of a purpose and a function. It's part of your career. But when you do that to a person one-on-one, you tell them, I'm going to tell you a joke, or it's a joke, here's how it goes. But you own it, you profess it, you make sure they know what you're saying, and you don't talk bad behind people's back, because that's a lie. That's a lie to yourself, and that's a lie to them, and it's a lie to your own heart. It's a lie to your thoughts. You don't talk behind people's backs. You speak the truth, and you think the truth. And it's a lot harder than you would know. I mean, just try it for a day. Every word that comes out of your mouth, make it the truth, and then think it as well. There you go. But relax. There it is. Emotions. control your emotions. Whatever this is that's tugging on your heart, control your emotions. But the best thing to do is think love. Love and positive energy. If you're not sure how to think, then think positive and think whatever it is, it'll work out for the best. You know, that's why this card is here. The angel card, the Christmas angel card. Whatever's happening, like I said, it will affect you. So maintain that balance. And I've used jet fighter pilots as an example many times, because a fighter pilot, when they choose a fighter pilot in America, they make sure when he's in that plane, he doesn't get angry, he doesn't get mad, he doesn't get happy, he doesn't get sad, he doesn't worry, he just thinks and he acts and he maintains a balance. He's not too happy, he's not too sad, he's stable, and he uses that as a direction. So maintain that balance, and if you're not sure what to do, use positive energy to that thought. And you can always imagine like a little sun in your heart, and it glows. And then when you think of that glowing sun going to your thoughts, going to your words, and filling it with like bright light. So when you're talking, and if you're not sure what to do, just imagine your words glowing like bright light as they come out of your mouth. That's a good way, and you know, you're using that love and that positive energy to help you. Ten of Swords. Don't be too uptight. Once again, it's a warning to not let this disturb you. Okay? So it's saying, don't let this disturb you. Whatever this is, and only you know what it is. Something that's literally in your heart space. And only you know what that is. You know, only you know what that is, but don't let it bother you. You have this card, the Ace card, which is don't be your worst enemy, so don't worry about it. See, this is like a worry card, but this is like a canceling of that worry card. Don't worry about it. Don't be your own worst enemy. Don't sit there and have a good idea and then tear it apart, tear it down in front of you, and pick at it until it sounds like a bad idea. Don't take a good idea and turn it into a bad idea because you can't stop worrying. The High Priestess, and that's the knowledge you need to know. That's the knowledge. That's literally like the person. That's like the head librarian, or that's like the principal in the school, or that's like a dean in the university coming up to you, and you're standing there with your books and you're studying for an exam, and they're saying, "You got this." You know, don't second guess yourself. You know, if it's a 500 question multiple choice test, go with what you know. You know, when I was in the Air Force, I would study, and they would give us multiple choice questions. And when I was studying, the captains and the sergeants and the generals and all, you know, they would come in, they make visits, you know, they would say little things to encourage you. And one of the things they used to say is, when you study. Study the question, and then only study the answer. Only study the answer. And then when you sit down and you take your test and you see all those 500 questions, you go, 1, I know the answer. 2, I know the answer. 3, I don't know. Skip it. 4, I don't know the answer. Skip it. 5, just go through everything and only answer what you know as fast as you can. Go through all 5 questions and put down all the right answers. And then your test is done. And then go back and look at the questions you couldn't answer. And those are the ones you can think about. Kind of like this. You know the good answers. You know what's relevant. Go back and then think about the ones you don't know after you figured out what you do know. Don't second guess yourself. Literally, that's what the high priestess, knowledge. Go with what you know. Bottom of the deck. Choices. Choices in your thoughts. And the good choices. Look at that. That's a cadet learning to use swords in hand-to-hand combat and solo combat. If you look at her forehead, it's glowing. Her eyes are closed. She's going with her gut, with her intuition. And she's believing in herself. Believing in herself. Believe. There you go. It's pretty straightforward. So that's your reading. It applies today, tomorrow, or 1,000,000 years from now. And when I say 1,000,000 years from now, I literally mean it. If for some reason someone in Galactic Command lands on a planet, maybe they land on Mars, and somebody's left a video message with this reading on it, and if they open it up, and there I am staring out at you and say, hi, you're a member of Galactic Command, this applies to you now. It will apply to you at that moment 1,000,000 years in the future. Nothing is too hard for the Almighty God. That is, doesn't matter where you are, who you are, when you are. It applies. That's why I can put this reading down here, and it doesn't matter who you are, because this is a psychic connection. You were brought here psychically. So, like I said, this applies today, tomorrow, or 1,000,000 years from now. And as the angels say, good luck, and I will talk to you later.